Hello there, Virgo. Welcome to your October 2023 reading. I'm Lou, and I'm so glad you're here with me. Let's open up the reading this month with Tasmanian Devil, Fighter. Now this month it is Libra season, but we're also closing out a lot of the energy that came from your season, from Virgo season. Virgo season was a big one for you this year because we had the Mercury retrograde there as well. So there was a lot that happened, a lot of changes. We've been through a lot lately, Virgo. We had the Venus retrograde in your 12th house, the Mercury retrograde in your first house, and now this month we're going to have an eclipse in your second house. So this is really personal work. It's hit home a lot, and it has caused has been a catalyst for a lot of change, a lot of sudden and dramatic change, mostly on the personal inner level, within your personality, but also with that Venus retrograde too, on the external, maybe within your relationships with other people. Now the Fighter card with the Tasmanian Devil does imply that the fight is still active. There's still a lot to do. Maybe even a need to defend these changes that are coming in. You know, they're very fresh, very new. Other people, if there is other people involved, may not really be up to speed with the changes you've made yet. So there may be this need to defend yourself. We are in Libra season, and that is your second house. Now the second house represents your values. It represents what's important to you, and what helps you to feel secure, what helps you to feel safe. So if you are being challenged, and if there is this need for some sort of fight with the Tasmanian Devil here, you'll be defending your beliefs. You'll be defending your values, what's important to you. We do have Mars in the second house until the 12th of October. Mars does initiate fights and a need to defend, especially in the second house, a need to defend your values. So that could come up for you in the first part of the month, as well as we do have two oppositions. We have Mercury opposing Neptune, that happens on the 3rd of October, and Venus opposing Saturn on the 10th of October. So that's between your first house and 7th house. So there may be conflict coming up for you within close relationships with people that you're close to or people that you work very closely with. I will just say though, as everything shifts into Scorpio at the end of the month, so we begin with Mars moving into Scorpio on the 12th, and then Mercury will move on the 22nd into Scorpio, and we'll begin Scorpio season on the 24th. So as we move into that, the end of the month and into November, all the planets will start to make really positive, harmonious vibes to the 7th house, to Saturn in the 7th house particularly. So that will bring some sort of resolution. There'll be a way to resolve the conflict, and a way to resolve it so that both parties or everybody involved wins and is happy and satisfied with the outcome. Now the Tasmanian Devil does come with a slight warning to just watch your anger. So be careful of getting angry and being overly assertive in any situations. But it also provides this opportunity to use your willpower, to use your strong will and your strong drive to overcome obstacles. So it can go either way. It depends how you navigate the energy. But just being aware of that space of, is your anger being supportive and helping you to overcome problems, to overcome obstacles? Is it giving you that passion and that drive to make the changes that are necessary? Or is it moving into a more shadow manifestation of causing problems, of bringing up more problems and more issues with people than is necessary, or within the situation than is necessary? Is it being detrimental, or is it being supportive? And you're coming into the reading with the 5 of Swords energy. So there's that conflict as well. There's conflict coming out here with both cards. 5 of Swords does sort of signify that this conflict can be on the internal level. So this is a self-sabotatory type energy, self-sabotaging. It can be fighting a battle to win the battle, but you lose the war. So is the underlying message of the 5 of Swords. So looking at what you're fighting and why is really important this month. Now, this Libra season is a significant one because we have an eclipse on the 14th. It's a solar eclipse in Libra. It is the first Libra solar eclipse in this cycle. So we're transitioning out of the Taurus Scorpio cycle that we've been in since 2021. And we're moving into this Aries Libra cycle, and brand new cycle with the nodal shifts. So this new cycle will be activating your 2nd house, 8th house axis, okay? And this can be about money and resources and security, but it can also be about your personal power. On an underlying emotive level, that axis is all about empowerment and how empowered you feel. So if you are fighting, if you're in this conflicting energy, especially if you're fighting to win small battles that really don't matter, if you're fighting and getting defensive and getting antagonized by things that really, in the grand scheme of things, in the bigger picture, don't really matter, there's something triggering you there, right? That's a trigger. And so that's something to look at because it's a message, it's an indicator. Those feelings, those emotions are guidance. They're telling you that something is off and it's not going to be what you think it is, because that trigger is just a messenger of something much deeper that is going on here. This may be about the work that you've been doing with that 1st house Mercury retrograde, that energy, and there's been a shift, like you have been through a massive shift with that, especially backing up from the Venus retrograde in the 12th house. Venus retrograde in the 12th house created a lot of closure, a lot of endings. Relationships ended, friendships ended, there was also endings within relationships from the past. So anything that you, like any baggage you were carrying from previous relationships that were closed out as well. And then the Mercury retrograde came in to help you put yourself back together, to relearn who you are now as you've gone through the processes, especially over the last 3 or 4 years. So now you have shifted into this new version of yourself, into this new Virgo, right? And you're getting to know yourself. And this 2nd house energy, the eclipse in the 2nd house, is part of that process of getting to know yourself. And so is this conflict. What is coming up for you? It will be a really good way to be able to do that that inner inventory and look at actually what's important to me. Because if you're getting triggered, if you're reacting, there's something important to you that is not being met. Like maybe a need is not being met. Maybe there's communication that isn't being met. Maybe there is something in your environment, something physically that is not being met. And instead of acknowledging that, and instead of like in a healthy way going about finding that to be met, you're being triggered. That's what the 5 of Swords is telling you. The universe really needs you to acknowledge, we've got the 5 of Cups, to acknowledge any grief, any sadness, any loss. Again, the 5s in the tarot is challenge, it's conflict, it's obstacles to overcome. So there's a lot of challenging energy this month, Virgo. So maybe there is grief and sadness around losses. You know, if Venus, with the Venus retrograde, did remove relationships from your life, maybe throughout October is the time to acknowledge the how sad that has made you feel, the pain that's left you with. Venus will move into Virgo, into your sign on the 9th of October. So moving out of Leo, and Leo is where she did that retrograde. Now I have done a separate video on this. I recommend that you go and watch that, because as she moves over that cusp and into Virgo, she will be, that we'll start to see the physical manifestations of that retrograde energy, of the work that we did with that retrograde energy. We'll start to see the results. Okay, so watching that video will help you to understand how to work with that. And part of that will be acknowledging the grief, acknowledging the pain of anything that's been shifted, anything that's been lost, because this is a part of your identity. When we're working with that 1st house energy and Venus will be moving into your 1st house, we're looking at our identity. Now, the other thing that is happening is that Lilith, the Black Moon Lilith, will also move into your 1st house on the 4th. Lilith will be in your 1st house in Virgo for 9 months. So this is a long-term transit when Lilith really brings up all the places, all the parts of ourselves that have been rejected, have been shamed, have been abandoned. So these Five of Swords, Five of Cups energy may be involved with feelings of abandonment and self-abandonment mostly. Five of Swords is usually something we do to ourselves, okay? So any time that you have not met your own needs, any time that you have not stood up for what you need, or have not asked for what you need, or have allowed other people to treat you in certain ways or do certain things out of the wanting to keep harmony within that relationship. So that's self-abandonment, okay? So that sort of stuff can come up with the Lilith in the first house. Shame can come up anywhere that you're feeling ashamed, particularly in the first house around your physical body. So if there's any shame, if there's any body image shaming, or there's any shame around your sexuality or sex or anything like that, that can come up with Lilith as well as rejection. If anybody has, if you've ever felt, and we all have, that sense of rejection or feeling rejected, that can come up for healing. With Lilith there's a lot of deep healing you can do. But first you need to face it, and that's what this Five of Cups is asking you to do. The universe is asking you to face it, to look at it directly and to work with it. Venus in the first house makes things way more easy, way more harmonious. So she's going to soften this transition a lot. She'll help you to feel into that nurturing energy that is required whenever we're doing this deep work. So the other thing about Venus is when she's in our first house, she makes us very attractive to other people. So you may be attracting other people into your life at this time. If you are doing that, if you attract people to you, be very sensitive to how you're feeling as they're coming in. So with the Lilith component there, that it can be sort of trauma bonding people that we attract to us. That's okay if you're willing to do that work, if you're willing to be very deliberate, very conscious with it and look at it very carefully and very clearly, but just staying really present with yourself, not losing yourself in it, not allowing it to be not allowing yourself to be swept away by it. Okay, just being very, very conscious of the emotional undertone that comes through these people, that these people bring up in you, and that that you feel about them, because that's going to determine how this goes for you. So these people may come into your life in order to trigger healing, in order to help you to heal and put you back together in a certain way, and that can be very beneficial. So I'm not saying to avoid it, but just being very aware so that you don't get swept down another rabbit hole, or a rabbit hole of more trauma, right? And the environment is offering you a fresh new beginning, a fresh start. I really love that. I feel really positive about that. So even though there's these challenges to overcome, even though you're in this fight or flight space, or in this need to defend yourself, there's a brand new beginning. I'm really drawn to the playful energy of this card, the beautiful colors. It feels very bright. It feels very childlike, very playful. You have Pluto moving direct in your 5th house on the 11th of October. So Pluto has been in your 5th house for a long time. Big transit has been really transcending your connections with children, with your inner child. So there may have been, over the last few years, things that came up with children for you. Maybe you became a parent, maybe you had a lot of transformation that came from interacting with children, or you were doing this work on your inner child and transitioning your inner child. Now, Pluto is doing a little bit of a dance between your 5th house and your 6th house over the next couple of years. So this is sort of going to keep coming back into your life. But for this purpose of this month, as Pluto moves direct, you can start to make some forward momentum in that way. So it may be looking at your children, your connection with your children. It may be your inner child, and it may be what brings you joy, what brings you energy into this life. And so with the Fool there, I'm feeling like that is a fresh new start for you in a very playful, bright way. So that happens on the 11th, and then on the 14th we have that solar eclipse in Libra in the 2nd house. So those two combined together could really spark something brand new for you, a really brand new direction. And maybe, you know, this is why this stuff is coming out for healing, because the more energy you give to this, the more that you can shift these fives, shift these challenges, these obstacles, this, especially on the internal. The more that you shift you can do, the more grief you can release, the more self-sabotaging behaviors you can release, the more profoundly beautiful and wonderful the blessings from this new direction can be. So I feel with the Fool, it's blessings, it's miracles is what I'm hearing for you, Virgo. There's miracles coming in. So it's time to clean this up so that the miracles are readily available. So your energy is there's no resistance to miracles and blessings coming forward for you. We have the Five of Wands, another 5. And the Four of Coins. Interesting. The Five of Wands is really inspiring sort of images for me of a serious battle, really a serious conflict coming up. Some sort of raging war where you are a warrior in that battle. I don't know why, but I feel like it's about, I mean, the Five of Wands is about competition, right? So it's just people wanting to compete with you, but it's like it's gone too far. It's become really toxic, and it's all involved in this, you like what the ideas or the perception that you've put around it in your own mind, and then the pain that you're feeling around it, and it's creating that's like this almost like a vortex of it's like spiraling out of control, and there's this fight. I feel like with the Four of Coins there as well, you're feeling very protective, particularly around this new beginning, wanting to protect it from this energy, wanting to protect it from, either if this is a person or multiple people, wanting to protect this from that. So you're really fighting to keep this safe, keeping it protected, and also maybe even fighting yourself in a way of you're in, like I see you with one foot in each world. So one foot in the world of a lack of belief because of this toxicity, because of this fight, not believing in what is this abundance that's possible in these miracles that are coming in, and another foot in this energy, ready to release it, believing, excited, eager for all of this to come in. So it's like you're on this precipice, Virgo, is what I'm seeing for you, and it really only takes a step in this direction and all of this can fall away. But you need to take that step. And the step into this direction does not involve anything that feels antagonistic to you, okay? So in that antagonistic, defensive, resistant type energy, that's blocking this from coming through. That is, whilst you're still engaging in this, you cannot take that step, you know? If you've got your feet in both worlds, this can't come through. So you need to step into this realm, into this world, by completely removing your attention to this. Remember, wherever your focus goes, your attention flows, your energy flows, and that's how we create. So shifting your focus is going to be a major theme this month for you. And that, I think that will help as we move into Scorpio season. So on the 12th, Mars moves into Scorpio. On the 22nd, Mercury, your ruler, moves into Scorpio. And then on the 24th, we start Scorpio season, and that will last up, into November, sort of the last bit of November. And so that's your third house. So then you're starting to look at your thought habits, your ideas, your speech, your communication. And so this is when you can make this mental shift. So using the first 3 weeks of October to work through this, because if you just push this down, if you just suppress it, it's still going to be operating in the background. So maybe with using that analogy of having your feet in two different worlds, like shifting into this world for the beginning of the month to really work through it, so that you're actually shifting it properly, so that you're actually transcending it, transmuting it, so the energy is moving. And then as everything moves into Scorpio, and that like I said, that energy in Scorpio will be making really harmonious beams towards Saturn in your 7th house, so that's going to help as well. And as that happens around the 24th, say, and onwards, you completely shift your focus into these blessings, these new beginnings, and allow that to be fully, allow your heart and your mind to be fully open to that, releasing any resistance to the fight, involved in the beginning of the month. You do also have on the 22nd of October, Venus, who will be in your 1st house at that point, will be making a beautiful trine to Jupiter in your 9th house. This is a really magical part of the month because Venus and Jupiter are the 2 benefic planets of the zodiac, and so they bring really beautiful energy, and they're making a trine which is the most beautiful, the most harmonious energy. So that around the 22nd, for everybody on the planet, something really beautiful is going to happen. For you, that's Jupiter is in your 9th house and is activating that house of your mindset. It's also your house of travel, but also your house of faith. So anything can happen there for the purpose of this reading, there's this opportunity around the 22nd to really shift your mindset, to shift your focus, shift the meaning you're applying to this situation. You can create a new meaning. You can give it a new meaning. You get to choose what meaning you apply to any situation. So if you want to choose that this situation is a competition and that you need to keep fighting, that's your choice. That's a meaning you can apply. If you want to choose that this situation is over, it challenged you to grow, you've now grown and you've healed and you're ready to move on, that's a meaning that you can apply and that you can choose as well, and that's up to you. So that's the energy with Jupiter. Jupiter brings us really good luck and blessings, but only to the extent that we're open and willing to receive it. So we have to open ourselves up to receiving it. So we have to do this work with the 4 of coins, instead of being closed off, trying to protect, be open to receiving this full energy, this new beginning. And we have the King of Coins. Beautiful. I love the King of Coins with that 2nd house activation. The 2nd house is your house of wealth and income, resources, money, finances. So that will be a focus, even with all of this going on, there will be a focus on your income and your money and your stability and your safety. What brings you comfort, what helps you to feel secure, which usually is money, but it can be also your home environment, and it also can be your physical body. So you're looking at those kinds of things. So with the King of Coins there, I really love that in the upright position. It means that you have this opportunity to create stability, to create safety and security for yourself this month. And that's what maybe you're working through, some conflict to do with finances, to do with money and stability and safety, or whatever was happening over here is creating this lack of stability, this as creating a lack of feeling safe and secure. And so this can be the mindset shift that you have as well, where you start to shift your focus towards being safe, being secure, feeling stable. That's what I'm hearing for you with the King of Coins. It's about feeling stable. The 2 of Wands on the bottom of the deck does suggest that you are looking towards the future. So you're looking towards the future for a new vision. Maybe you're bringing in a new vision, bringing something into your life, expanding in some way. There's an expansion here. And you want to make sure that you're expanding in a very stable and a very safe and secure way in terms of the long term as well. With Saturn being involved, with the King of Coins, we're looking at long term. This is all about your long-term goals and the future that you are moving towards. Now we have on the 29th of October, we have the last eclipse in the Taurus and Scorpio eclipse cycle. So this is a cycle that has been going since November 2021. We had the height of it in 2022. So whatever storyline has been coming up for you around every time we have an eclipse season, and it's in your 9th house. The reason I'm bringing this up is because we've got the King of Coins, which is the card of Taurus. So I love this Taurus eclipse for you. It is going to put an issue or a topic in your life to rest, to bed. It's over, it's done with. It's a lunar eclipse, so it's an ending, it's a finale, it's closure. So you will get some sort of closure. And this in the 9th house, it can have to do with travel or foreign people or foreign places. So it can be, if you've got something around that coming up for you, then that it could be to do with that. It can also be to do with higher education of knowledge and wisdom. So if you're studying or if you have gained some sort of knowledge or wisdom, it could have to do with that. It can also have to do with faith and, like I said, your mindset. So you have been embedding a brand new mindset for a couple of years now, with Uranus there, with Jupiter there, with the eclipses in the north and the nodes there. You've been embedding this new mindset, really shifting your views and the meaning you apply to the world. And this is going to really shore up that mindset for the future. So this will be it. You'll really embed it into your life. There'll be maybe an opportunity to practice it and to create more stability and security in that mindset so that you can move forward into the future with it. And it's not effort anymore. It is habit. It is a part of who you are now. And the universe is reflecting back to you, Amber, laughter. I love that. Okay, so there is this need to be a more light and breezy and easy about everything that's happening. So this is intense vibes energy, this fighting energy is not light and breezy at all. And so if you're getting very serious, if you're getting very involved in it, the way that you can overcome that is through joy and laughter. That's how I felt with this Fool. This Fool felt very joyful, very easy. There's laughter involved there. And so there's how well you can connect to that energy of joy, that childlike energy with the Pluto direct as well, will be reflected back to you in your environment. So if you really are in the midst of a fight, that is really an indicator that you are blocked off or resistant to joy and to fun and to childlike exuberance in life. So that could be something that comes up for you to work on this month, really to feel into what that means to you, what it would mean, it would require for you to feel more joyful, to feel more easy, to feel more like a lightness. Now, if you're feeling that already, if you are feeling that, then that's great. That's an indicator that you're in the right track, you're in the right direction, and that's what's going to be reflected back to you. The more that you laugh, the more that you have fun, the more that you enjoy your life through this month, the more that your environment will feel light and easy as well. Oh, that was easy. Surrender procrastination. Now is the time to jump on a goal instead of putting it off. Taking action will attract success. And surrender comparisons with other people. Keep your eyes trained on yourself. Focus on your own strengths, attractiveness, and power. Okay, so first of all, the surrender procrastination, that's what came out with this Tasmanian Devil too. The Tasmanian Devil encourages us to take action, like I said at the beginning. So it does encourage you to fight and to fight for a cause, defend yourself, defend your values, defend what you are trying to achieve. But it also does give you that like fire underneath you to move towards something. So whatever you're working on, your goals, your 2 of Wands, your vision, to actually get up and take the action required to fight for that vision, to bring that vision into life. So it's all good and well to do the vibrational stuff, to tend to your vibration, to tend to your state of being, to make sure that you're in the right energy, to meditate, to do all of that. That's a part of this. It's a part of the co-creative process, but it's only one part, okay? So a lot of people, when they're trying to manifest, they get sort of stuck on that part, and then they don't realize that actually there's physical action you need to take. You need to be every day taking action towards your goals. And so this month is reminding you of that being passive is not going to work. That's the message for you this month, Virgo. Being passive will not work. It's about moving towards your goals, fighting for it if that's necessary, but also remembering to be light and breezy in that fight for it. Now, surrender your comparisons to other people. I love that with this 5 of Wands. That's what's going to keep you stuck, is if you're comparing yourself to other people, you're comparing your success to other people, you're comparing your views to other people, you're comparing what you are doing each day or how you handle situations or whatever it is that's coming up for you. If you're comparing yourself to other people, that's just going to keep you whirling around in this conflict, in this 5 of Swords energy. And that's part of the self-sabotage. So being aware if you're doing that, we can even do that to sabotage ourselves. So removing your attention off everybody else, shifting your focus, like I said, off other people, off what they're doing. If you're in conflict with someone, forget about what they're doing. Just focus on what you're doing. Focus on your actions, your behaviors. You can't change other people. You can't control other people. You can't control situations. You can't make other people or situations be, do, or anything that you want. That's just completely out of your sphere of power. So bringing your awareness back to what you have control over, what you do have power over, which really is just yourself, just your own actions, just your own thoughts, just your own emotions. If you can bring your focus back to that and really just focus on making sure that your thoughts are aligned, your emotions are aligned, your state of being is aligned, and regardless of what anybody is or isn't doing, it's really important to remember that. So regardless of whether somebody is the way that you want them to be, is treating you the way that you want them to treat you, is doing the things that you want them to do, and sometimes when they are, it's very easy to be aligned, right? So because it feels good, but that's still giving your power away. So remember, I said the 2nd house, 8th house axis, which is what we're moving into with the Libra eclipses, with the North Node and South Node being in there. So the next year and a half is going to be really important about empowerment. This is how we find empowerment, is by focusing on what we actually have power over and what we actually can control, and forgetting about everything else, releasing everything else. That's the crux of creating empowerment in our life. And that's going to be the journey that you're on for the next year and a half, Virgo. Okay. And always look for the good, even in the most difficult situations. Well, I think we've covered that. We know there's this difficult situation. Like I said, not avoiding it. We're not just trying to say positive affirmations and hope it goes away. That doesn't work. It never works, okay? But you can move through that energy and then transmute it into something good. So you can find the good in it, and you can find the silver lining in it. You can find the blessings and the miracles in it, and then release it and let go. That's a part of this lifting up into a more light and easy energy. When you feel light and easy, when you're enjoying life, when you're having fun, when you're feeling joyful, it's very easy to find the good in a situation. You know, these more difficult situations tend not to knock you down as low when you're in that space. But when you're already low and then a difficult situation comes up, we tend to just really focus on the negatives to find the negatives. So shifting that focus, even if you have to write lists of positive aspects, even if you have to sit there and write all the things you like about somebody that you're in conflict with. I mean, that's some one way to do it, and to really shift your thoughts. And then again, that's what you have control of. That's helping you to be empowered, because you're choosing and you're being deliberate and you're being conscious with your thoughts. So that's something you can try this month, Virgo, to help to make it more easy and more light for you throughout October. So that's your reading for October, Virgo. Thank you for being here with me. I appreciate you so much. Appreciate your time here with me. I really love doing these readings for you. I hope that you come back. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care.